In this activity, we're going to do an experiment. If you like, you can just use this video and record all the results on the worksheet, or you can do your own experiments at home. Alright kids, it's time to play Fizzable or Infizzable. We can usually tell if food is acidic because it tastes sharp like lemon juice. But wouldn't it be cool if we could see the acid as well? Baking soda is a chemical we use in baking. When baking soda mixes with something that's acidic, it releases a gas, and that can make bubbles that expand and make things rise. You can use baking soda in bread and cakes to make them light and fluffy. Certain fruit and vegetables contain a little acid, some more than others. The more acid they contain, the more they'll fizz. We're going to see which fruit and veg fizz a lot and which ones fizz a little. What we're going to do is this. First, we'll see what happens when we add baking soda to different juices. If they fizz, they must contain some acid. Then, we'll try to put them in order from least fizzy to most fizzy. If you do your own home experiment, you're going to need a few things. Here, I'll take you through them. First, you'll need some fruit and vegetables. You can pick whichever ones you like, or whichever ones you have, as long as you can get juice from them. I've picked grapes, lemons, tomatoes and satsumas. Equipment-wise, you're going to need some way of getting the juice out of the fruit and veg, like a manual juicer. It's best not to blend the fruit because that produces too much solid. You'll also need some cups. It's best if you can see straight through them so you can see the fizz from all angles. And of course, you'll need some baking soda, otherwise known as sodium bicarbonate or bicarbonate of soda. About 50 grams of baking soda should be enough. You'll also need some measuring spoons for a quarter teaspoon and a teaspoon. If you don't have any of these, a regular teaspoon will do. By the end of the prep, you should have 2 teaspoons worth of each type of juice in a separate glass. If you don't have glasses that are the same size, just use the same glass over again. Just make sure you wash and dry it thoroughly. We don't need to use a lot of fruit or veg to get this amount of juice. For this experiment, I'm going to use 2 tomatoes, 1 lemon, about 20 grapes, and 1 satsuma. So we need to start off by preparing the fruit for juicing. Some fruit and veg may need to be cut up using a kitchen knife, so make sure this is done by somebody responsible. Next, we move on to juicing. Try to keep the seeds and the pulp out of the juice, but if you get a little bit, that's not really a problem. In the next bit, we take 2 teaspoons of our juice and add them to a cup. To be good scientists, we need to use the same amount of liquid for each test, so we need to use 2 teaspoons for each type of juice. If we have the same amount of juice, we can compare the results in a fair way. Ideally, this is what our juices should look like in the end, identical volumes in identical glasses. Now we get to the fun part, adding the baking soda to the juices. We're going to add a quarter teaspoon of baking soda to each type of juice. If you don't have a measuring spoon, which is a quarter teaspoon, just make sure you're adding about a quarter teaspoon and the same amount each time. Let's see what happens with the lemon juice. Stirring the mixture with a spoon helps everything to react quickly. If you use too much juice and too much baking soda, you may have a little bit of a spill. That's okay, wipe it up and start again. That was quite fun. Let's see what happens with the other juices. Next, we'll go through the close-ups one by one. Now the rest is up to you. Go back, rewatch the videos. Which do you think fizzed the most? Which do you think fizzed the least? And in what order would you put them? Fill out your answers on the worksheet. If you did your own experiment at home, why don't you take some pictures or videos and share them with your friends?